Right, so we've still got about a couple of weeks before the start of the Rugby Championship in for the All Blacks, that's in Argentina, and for the Wallabies, and then of course the Wallabies play the Springboks in South Africa. So yeah, well, we've had the All Blacks squad for the Rugby Championship named, which I don't think I'll go into a bit more depth closer to the Rugby Championship, as part of the preview. So, but yeah, so while we're waiting for the round to the NPC to start, I was just having a thing about ideas for what to do next, and yeah. Then I thought about how about what could if there were a hypothetical, if there were no injuries, everyone was performing at their was performing at their peak, what would the All Blacks optimal ideal 23 look like when the Rugby World Cup comes around in Australia in 2027? Look, of course, this is all hypothetical, of course, and we know there's there's over 2 years to go. There's a lot can certainly change. So, but yeah, it's a bit of fun. So let's crack on to my All Blacks 23 for the 2027 Rugby World Cup. So let's start with the front row. Look, I'm going to go to Tamaiti Williams. We've partnered with a 36-year-old Cody Taylor, which, 36-year-old is getting there, but hookers do tend to be at their peak in their late to early to mid 30s, and Cody Taylor's still going strong. I can see him going on to make it. I can see him going on to the next Rugby World Cup. And yeah, and that would if he goes on to win it, that will be a fitting end to what's been one of the great All Black careers. And partnering, I guess, Tamaiti Williams, I think he is the number one loose head prop, and I think it seems like he's only going to get better and better as long as health wise he continues to keep injury free. He's in the Crusaders. I think I feel like the ceiling is. I feel like that the ceiling is still some way to go for Tamaiti Williams. And for me, I'm just going to go I'm going to go Tyrell Lomax for now. Just simply because he is our best tight end, and I think he's still got plenty to offer with New Zealand Rugby. And look, who could chase it? Look, I guess the question now is, who would you have in place of those? You consider the options. For me, for Cody Taylor, I think Samisoni Takiaho has always been the number, at least if not the top, the second best hooker in New Zealand, and he's showing, he's had, after recovering from that serious injury, he's showing why he's been rated for so long. And I think he will, come 2027, I think he will have an important part to play. So of course I wouldn't expect 36-year-old Cody Taylor to be playing 80 minutes, although I'm pretty confident that he can, but of course they do want to keep some fresh legs. So I think Takiaho is currently, for me, Takiaho is looks like he will be the second best hooker in New Zealand. Third choice, just for a bit of fun, I guess you're looking at your Asafo Moores, Brodie McAllister's, George Bell. It's quite, on paper it could be a very tight race. I'm just gonna give it to Asafo Moores, but behind Samisoni Takiaho. I think Ethan de Groot, I think Ethan de Groot is still going to be, is still one of our premier loose hits. So but I think he's just behind Tamaiti Williams. And for now, I'm just going to go Pasio Tosi. Look, prop is going to behind Tyrell Lomax. Look, prop's going to be quite prop is an area where I think we're looking pretty strong at. Look, I think certainly, in the next couple of years, certainly see how they go against like South Africa and Argentina as they play will they develop? I think, we've just got to watch this space. Locks, well, you can't really go beyond Scott Barrett, who is the captain. But I'm gonna sort of toe the line that has sort of been started with this rugby championship, where Tupou Vaa'i sort of start playing at blindside. I think one, and I'm gonna mention the first reason. That what I think Fabian Holland, given how the amazing start he's had to his to his All Blacks career, it sort of gives me a bit of vibes. Reminds me of how when Sam Whitelock and Brody Retallick burst onto the scene. He's just he's sort of even emerged as the number one lineup, the lineup target, and I mean, again, where's the ceiling for this guy? I mean, he's literally and figuratively. It's just amazing that New Zealand Rugby's been able to produce all these locks with just like your Sam Whitelocks, Brody Retallicks have just been yes, there's something really special about them. I think Barrett and Holland is going to be the locking partnership that we should really work on, and come 2027, it's going to be the partner. It's going to be the locking duo. To start the game, to start the test, and and I think that means that it sort of does allow Tupou Vaa'i, who is a very good athlete, really good carrying the ball. For now, I think he would be the best blindside option. Look, let's talk about blindside, because look, I think we've sort of been hunting for someone since Jerome Kaino retired, a big physical blindside presence. I think we've tried various options, haven't been with varying degrees of success. Look, I'm not saying that Tupou Vaa'i is no Jerome Kaino, but I think certainly can develop to if he can get about 80%, if he can produce as about 80% of what Jerome Kaino did in his heyday, then I'll be pretty happy. Look, I can't see any other options. I mean, we have Sami Penifina, how he develops. Ethan Blackadder, I mean, for some reason, he's kind of sort of fallen. I mean, would they even think about Leo Willie, Peter Lakai? So for me, I think Tupou Vaa'i, he does seem to be, again, he's another All Black who doesn't seem to have a bad, doesn't seem to have a bad game, and he seems like he could have a very long future in the black jersey, possibly at blindside, of course, and of course if the game needs it, we can move to lock. So I might as well talk about the rest of the back row. While we're at it, Adi Savia is at 7, and I think he will be the open side flanker going into the Rugby World Cup. It's quite clear that the Jason Ryan, the coaches, see Adi as an open side, and they also see Wallace Atiti as being the number 8. As long, I think, again, Wallace Atiti, another player who, I think we still have yet to see the ceiling, the limit for this guy, for this kid. It's just sensational to think how young he is, and that even in 2027, you could argue that he's not even hit his peak. So Wallace Atiti for me at number 8, and I guess we should talk about lock and flanker back row subs. I mean, Patrick Tuipulotu is a natural choice, I guess. Yes, you've got 3 locks on the side, but I still have Patrick Tuipulotu there as an option. And look, now I'm gonna bring up my big call here. I'm gonna chuck in Ollie Mathers. Oh, look, look, I know he's still reasonably new on the scene, but there has been a lot of talk about him. Obviously in the 7s he's able to play wing. Looks like in the 15s he's going to play number 7. So I mean, I guess, would you consider him as a backup to Adi Savia? I mean, there are question marks over the fitness of someone like Luke Jacobson. I mean, there's also always Dalton Papali'i. But I think This is my hot take. I think Ollie Mathers is gonna be sort of like the bolter in the next 1 year or so, just sort of in the same way Ardy was. And yeah, certainly he looks like someone who could be really decent at that open side position. So watch this space. So yeah, I think he is gonna be one of the, I think he feels like a bolter right now, but come 2027, I think it's gonna be a selection that's a no-brainer. We move on to the backs. Look, Cam Roygar, I think is gonna be first choice halfback. And look, of course, this video is fresh on the back of the news that Richie Mo'unga is coming back to New Zealand rugby. And I think it has sort of been in the coming for a while. He is signed up to the end of 2027. He's going to return with the Crusaders and Canterbury. And look, if he continues the form that he did prior to the last Rugby World Cup, and a lot of coaches, Top Blackadder has come and even said that he's a better player than he was when he first left New Zealand rugby, then I think, no disrespect to like Beauden Barrett and Daniel McKenzie, but if you have Richie Mo'unga there, I think he will be streets ahead. That's the number one first choice. And yeah, I think almost this type of signing that could really will transform the All Blacks, really, make, I don't want to call them the favorites, but I think it certainly would give them an ace. I think Richie Mo'unga, there was sort of a time, maybe perhaps Richie Mo'unga was sort of a little bit undervalued by New Zealand rugby. He's got away now, and I think people have sort of realised how valuable he is, how integral he was to the All Blacks in this last cycle. He's got away now, I think, refreshed, playing in gone away playing in Japan, coming back now with a fresh mindset. And yeah, I like Cody Taylor. I think he will be very, very motivated to go and win that Rugby World Cup. So midfield, I've gone with Look, you go with Geordie Barrett. For now, I'm just gonna put Billy Proctor there. I just can't really see any other center options. I feel like Rieko Ioane's time in the centers is kind of passing now. I think it seems like the selectors might see him more as a wing, and I guess the question now is which wing. You've got someone because for me, look, I'm gonna put Rieko Ioane on the right wing, on the open side wing, because I'm gonna name Leroy Carter, who has been named in the Rugby Championship squad, possibly the fastest man in New Zealand rugby, which I guess when you have someone like Beauden Barrett and Rieko Ioane on the side, it just says a lot. It says something. I think Leroy Carter could be a massive. I think he could have a massive say at the 2027 Rugby World Cup. Of course, another 7-star like Ollie Mathers. As I said, he's got pace, and he seems to I think he seems to offer something that New Zealand wingers, like no disrespect to like Caleb Clark and Mark Talia, haven't quite been able to offer. So for me, Leroy Carter is going to take that blindside wing, and I think he could very well be a star. And finally, so you have Leroy Carter at one wing, Ioane on the other, Proctor, Barrett in the midfield, and finally, of course, it's going to be Will Jordan at fullback. Of course, let's not forget he was the top try scorer in France at the last Rugby World Cup, and right now I think is our best fullback option. I think that's enough said about Will Jordan. In terms of the subs, I think we are sort of looking. Cortez Ratama, I think, is emerging as the number 2 halfback. That can't really see anyone else. I mean, Finley Christie, I think, might very well be touch and go. We've got to see how Carl Preston looks like, but I think for now, Cortez Ratama is reasonably safe as the backup, and I think he's done all right there when he's played in the number 9 jersey for the All Blacks. Now in terms of the other 2 backs, the other 2 backs on the bench, a mouthful there. Look, I think look, we've already got a few centers, I guess, but yeah, I mean, it's going to be a question. I've gone with Bone Barrett and Dean McKenzie, with Ruben Love, the unlucky one out. I think, yeah, obviously both Barrett and McKenzie, they can, they are very capable of providing that impact. I think McKenzie certainly has been considered an impact player, and yeah, I think, look, I mean, fingers crossed. I guess if you needed to shift someone in the center, I guess Rico Ioane could go into play center. So for me, Barrett and McKenzie, I think you could have one of them playing 10, 15. Yeah, you could have the two, they can sort of rotate. So that's my All Blacks 23. I mean, this is, of course, a reminder. This is, hypothetical only. This is based on sort of like, trends, if they're not injured, of course, and of course, trends, how they're progressing. So, look, I anticipate this video will age as well as warm milk on a summer's day. But what are your thoughts? Who do you think could very well make, come 2027, okay, they might not be in the All Blacks, they might still just playing NPC at this point in time. Who do you think will be in the who do you think will play a massive role for the All Blacks when the Rugby World Cup comes around October, November, of course. October, November 2027. And of course, if you like this video, feel free to like, and don't forget to subscribe.